A week since we heard about the pre-purchase, and the sim gets more interesting. Many of you were keen on knowing about the Steam version in particular, and the good news is that this is now available for pre-purchase at the Steam store. All the editions will be made available, that includes the Aviators edition as well. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, and I'm Chickmangler. Before we dive right into topic, it's time for our sponsors for this video. There are solutions to control your PC or even play games right from your phone by the use of a remote desktop. Awesome Remote Desktop, a useful software enabling users like us to remotely access and control your PC, laptop or smartphone anywhere and anytime. Not just controlling, you can transfer files remotely, mirror your mobile to your PC, make screen recording, tutorials and videos easily. Compatible with most common platforms, and do check this code for a 7-day trial. Do take a look at the smart plug that enables you to turn off your PC gradually from anywhere, an easy to install plug that saves energy, sold only on Amazon. Yesterday marks as a first development Q&A, inclined on the next installment, and there's a ton of new information to share. From the specs to new features, virtual reality, performance, load times and so much more. First, let's talk about virtual reality, and some of us have been curious about this on what's new in this area. The sim will continue to support virtual reality, and in terms of performance, they should be similar to the current sim, and of course we should see some improvements. One of the things to note is that there's a new adaptive detail setting system that adjusts graphics on the fly to maintain a consistent frame rate. This kind of dynamic optimization is something we've seen in other games and simulators, but it's great to see this coming in MSFS 2024. One of the things most of us, myself included, had this question in mind about requirements. Am I going to upgrade my PC? Do we need a beast of a PC or do we need a better GPU? Let's talk about system requirements. Now, one of the biggest surprises was the 64GB RAM requirements for ideal specifications. While this number might seem a bit high, this is something not to worry, as Microsoft explained that this is mostly for users who like to multitask. For example, content creators who like to run things on the fly, be it screen recording, while simming, or doing other tasks while flying. We need to know that the sim itself doesn't necessarily need all this RAM on its own, but it's recommended for those of us who are doing more at the same time. While we saw the latest video of my coverage on the event and the gameplay, I saw many comments about performance on why we're still seeing late 30s or 40 frames per second. That's a bit surprising to myself as well. Now, if you're wondering about performance, here's what we need to know. Minimum specs will target 1080p resolution with lower settings, while the recommended specs aim for 1440 at high settings. But if you're aiming for ultra settings like me, you'll need a 64GB of RAM to really push for 4K at the highest settings, while the team are already seeing 40 to 50 frames per second in-house. And yes, this applies to the PC version of the game. And if you're wondering about the Xbox Series, there's some good news. On the Xbox Series S, you'll see a target of 1080p, while the Xbox Series X aims for 4K with some new optimizations for better memory stability. Additionally, on performance improvements, multi-core CPU utilization is getting a big upgrade. That's some good news. This means that the sim is going to be a lot better at multi-threading, leading to smoother gameplays, especially with all those new optimizations under the hood. Plus, the sim will now run exclusively on DirectX 12. So expect some enhanced features that weren't possible in the previous sim. One question comes to mind: if this will support multi-monitors. I had this question in my mind. There's no answer to this question yet, but definitely something to follow. Let's talk about load times. This is another big update. Now, Microsoft made some serious strides here, thanks to the unified planet model. In the past, there were separate planets for the main menu and the actual sim. Yes, and switching between these two led to some pretty long load times, and it made sense. Now, with just one planet used across the board, you'll experience faster load times and a seamless transition between the menu and the sim. Now, the world map is more enhanced, with real-time clouds, shadows, and even live boat traffic, giving you a much more immersive experience right from the beginning. Now, it's quite interesting to realize that there are moving parts here, and the performance is better on load times, which is a good thing. We are always keen on the level of detail, LOD, Now, Microsoft has done a smart move where only the necessary textures and meshes are loaded at any given time, reducing memory usage and improving overall performance. You need to realize that less memory usage equals less loading time, especially for those of us who like to jump in and start flying without waiting around. There were many times where I had to wait 20 minutes for the sim to load up as I had so many third-party add-ons. That won't be the case from now. As for new features, career mode is a big one. You can now walk around your aircraft in free flight, not just during pre-flight, and yes, wear and tear and all other aspects will affect your plane over time, which means ownership. There are missions, progression, and you can even skip training if you're an experienced pilot. You can start missions at almost any airport through certain missions like firefighting. So you get to start your own mission, meaning your own career from the place you choose, anywhere in the globe. Now, third-party aircraft will be usable in career mode, so something to note. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 introduces several advancements. We spoke about DirectX 12 and how more it can leverage advanced graphical features, the integration of Fidelity FX Super Resolution 3, improved load times, career mode, AI traffic, virtual reality, and more. Are there any special features or improvements you'd like to see? Do leave your thoughts in the comments below. And there's more to cover on the new sim. And until next time, bye bye for now.